Welcome everyone, and today we are going to be opening Magic the Gathering Commander Stalwart Unity. I picked this up at Walmart today. It's actually the only English one, otherwise I would have probably got a different deck. But this is supposed to be going for like $117 or $110, somewhere around there. If you pieced everything together singly. I only picked this up for, I believe, 36 bucks or so. Let's get the big guy out of here. Cineos and Tiro of Meletis. I think that's how you say it. Not 100% sure, but there you go. Alright. So, Commander rules. Well, I believe it's rules. But, yeah, it comes with, I think, 4 different commanders in here. But only one of them is really... I don't know. There's supposed to be a partner in here as well. Partner commander, which means you can have 2 commanders out as long as they're partners. I personally have not played with any of those and don't know anyone that does. But this one is supposed to be focused more around Cineos and Tiro, which is technically the only gay couple in Magic that I know of. But here he is. At the beginning of your end step, draw a card. Each player may put a land card from his or her hand onto the battlefield. Then each opponent who did not, they draw a card. It's not bad. It's kind of like friendly for everyone. Yeah, that's him. Alright, so here we go with the deck. Crayon Ledovic's Opus. It's a legendary creature, zombie horror, flying haste. Whenever an opponent casts his or her second spell each turn, draw a card. And it's a partner card, meaning you may have 2 commanders if they both have a partner. That's what I'm talking about here. Like, this one also has partner. Legendary creature, human wizard. This is Ledovic, Necro Alchemist. At the beginning of each player's end step, that player may draw a card. If a player other than you lost life this turn, and it's partner as well. Not bad. It's a 1 blue-red. So here is the last legendary creature you can have as your commander in here. It is Sidar, Kondo of Jamura. I have no idea if I'm saying that right, but it's got flanking, which means whenever a creature without flanking blocks this creature, the blocking creature gets -1/-1 until the end of turn. And creatures your opponents control without flying or reach can't block creatures with power 2 or less. Just not bad at all, honestly. So here are all the tokens. Looks like you got soldier, spirits, soldier, bird, and beast. They all 1/1s? 1/1s. Except for the beast and the bird, they're all 1/1s. So here's the Veteran Explorer. When Veteran Explorer dies, each player may search his or her library for up to 2 basic land cards and put them onto the battlefield. Then each player who searches his or her library this way shuffles it. Okay. Humble Defector, red 1. Draw 2 cards. Target opponent gains control of Humble Defector. Activate this ability only during your turn. Hopefully you've got a partner on that somehow, or you've kind of made out a good strategy with one of your other opponents. So this is Orzhov Advocist. Creature human advisor. It's a white with 2. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player may put 2 1/1 counters on a creature he or she controls. If a player does, creatures that player controls can't attack you or a planeswalker you control until next turn. It's a good way to keep people off you, at least. And then here is Horizon Chimera. It's a flash flying trample. Whenever you draw a card, you gain 1 life, which would be great for this deck, actually, because every time you draw a card, actually these cards in this deck are meant to make you draw cards along with everyone else, but if you have this guy out, you're gaining life every time you draw a card. Soul Ring, and everyone knows Soul Ring, 2 mana for a 1. Commander Sphere, in this case you get red, green, white, or blue with this commander. You can sacrifice, draw a card as well. Assault Suit, it's equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+2, has haste, can't attack you or a planeswalker you control, and can't be sacrificed. Beginning of each opponent's upkeep, you may have that player gain control of equipped creature until end of turn. If you do, untap it and equip 3. Huh. I don't know about that one yet. Now, I was just reading some stuff on this one. This is Evolutionary Escalation for a green 1. It's an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, put 3/+1/+1 counters on target creature you control, and 3/+1/+1 counters on target creature an opponent controls. I don't see why you would use this, because you're giving your opponent +3, and then yourself +3. Like, I just don't see the point of giving yourself and your opponent +3, unless somehow after this you can get rid of that creature. Ghostly Prison, good white card. It's a 2/1 white. Creatures can't attack you unless their controller plays 2 for each creature he or she controls that attacks you. Propaganda, good blue. 2 and 1 blue. Creatures can't attack you unless their controller plays 2 for each creature he or she controls that's attacking you. Just put both these guys out at once. You have to pay 4 for each creature they control that attacks you. Not bad, in my opinion. Sphere of Safety. Enchantment, creatures you can't attack you or a planeswalker you control unless their controller plays X for each of those creatures, where X is the number of enchantments you control. Another one good. You can create a lot of anti-attacking you because they'd have to pay so many lands with all these things out. Alright, Swords of Plowshares. Plowshares. I have no idea. It's a white. Exile target creature. Its controller gains life equal to its power. So you technically could do that yourself, but I don't see why you would. Oh, if you want more life, yeah. So, Arcane Denial. Counter target spell. Its controller may draw up to 2 cards at the beginning of your next turn's upkeep. You may draw a card at the beginning of your next turn's upkeep. Cool. Beast Within. Instant. Green and 2. Destroy target permanent. Its controller creates a 3/3 green beast creature token. So, to make this deck good, from what I've seen so far, you need a lot of anti-creature hate. So you need to get rid of your opponent's creatures just because you're doing stuff to give your opponent's creatures, or boost your creatures up with these spells. Or you can just take these out completely and avoid that. So this is Sylvan Reclamation, green, white, and 3. Instant, exile up to 2 target artifacts and or enchantments, basic life, land cycling at 2. Cultivate. Got one of these on my Commander deck. Green and 2. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, reveal those cards, and put one onto the battlefield tapped and the other into your hand and shuffle your library. Always good to have mana ramp. Kodama's Reach. Sorcery, Arcane for 2 and a green. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, reveal those cards, and put one onto the battlefield tapped and the other into your hand, then shuffle your library. Always good. Migratory Route. 3 white and blue. Sorcery. Create 4 1/1 white bird creature tokens with flying. Basic land cycling 2. And if y'all didn't know what land cycling is for 2, discard this card and search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, and put it into your hand and shuffle your library. So it's another way of getting mana ramp. Treacherous Terrain. Sorcery for 6 red and green. Treacherous Terrain deals damage to each opponent equal to the number of lands that player controls. And it's got basic land siphoning of 2 again. Great at the end of the game. Or you could easily make this the end of the game with that one card. So let's see here. Plains. 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 plains. 1, 2, 2 islands. I hope that's not all they got in here. No, it looks like they got some more in the back, especially some multi. But Selfless Squire at white and 3. It's a human soldier. Flash when Selfless Squire enters the battlefield. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to you this turn. Whenever damage that would be dealt to you is prevented, put that many +1/+1 counters on Selfless Squire. Not bad. Prismatic Geoscope. Artifact. For 5, Prismatic Geoscope enters the battlefield tapped, and Domain. Tap it and add X mana to any combination of colors to your mana pool, where X is the number of basic land types among lands you control. So if you had 6 lands, you could tap it and get 6 mana of any combination of colors, as long as it's basic lands on your field. I actually have not seen that used, but that looks like a pretty good card. But for 5, it's going to put you down for that one turn. Benefactor's Drought. Instant, untap all creatures until end of turn. Whenever a creature an opponent control blocks, draw a card, and then draw a card. Entrapment Maneuver. Ugh. Instant for a white and 3. Target player sacrifices an attacking creature. You create X 1/1 white soldier creature tokens, where X is that creature's toughness. I cannot talk, guys. I am so sorry. Seeds of Renewal. For 6 and a green. This better be good. Sorcery. Undaunted. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each opponent. That's why. Return up to 2 target cards from your graveyard to your hand. Exile Seeds of Renewal. Well, I guess you can have more than just that. Here's another legendary creature. Zedru. The Great-Hearted. Legendary creature, Minotaur Monk. He is a red, white, blue, and 1. Beginning of your upkeep, you gain X life and draw X cards, where X is the number of permanents you own that your opponents control. Alright, so for a red, white, and blue, target opponent gains control of target permanent you control. Ah, okay. So you can put down a lot of permanents, give them to your opponents, and then, your upkeep, you gain X life, where that's the amount of permanents you gave to your opponents. That's not bad, or if they take from you. I don't know about that. I really don't. So here's a shapeshifter for a green, blue, and 4. Progenitor Mimic. Probably saying that terribly. You all know by now I am terrible at these names. You may have Progenitor Mimic enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it gains at the beginning of your upkeep. If this creature isn't a token, create a token that's a copy of this creature. Whoa, that could be a lot of... It's just one of those infinite mirrors. You look one way and they're all down the way. If y'all have any idea what I'm talking about. You go to like a dressing room, you look to the mirrors, there's one on both sides, you see yourself there, and you see about a million of you behind them. That's what that reminds me of, at least. So this is Hushwing Griff for a white and 2. A creature hippogriff. Flash flying. Creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger. Huh. Not bad. So this is Chasm Skulker. Creature Squid Horror for a blue and 2. Whenever you draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter on Chasm Skulker. When Chasm Skulker dies, create X 1/1 blue squid creature tokens for island with Island Walk, where X is the number of +1/+1 counters on Chasm Skulker. They can't be blocked as long as the defending player controls an island. Ooh. That could be useful. Alright, there's more. Alright, guys, I lied about there being 4 legendaries. There's quite a few. This is Edric, Spymaster of Trest for green, white, or green, blue, and 1. Legendary creature, Elf Rogue. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, its controller may draw a card. don't know if I like that. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, its controller. Okay, I do like that. But that can be good for everyone too. So if player 1 attacks player 2, player 1 draws a card. But if you attack player 2, you draw a card. But if player 2 attacks you, they draw a card. I don't think I like that. I don't know. This is a lot of help everyone. Wafa Hazard Profiteer for white, blue, and 1. Legendary creature, human rogue. It's white, blue, and tap. Put a bribery counter on target creature you don't control. Its controller draws a card. Creatures with bribery counters on them can't attack or block. Now I like that. You're giving your opponent cards, but they can't attack you with these creatures. And you can really create a damper on what they're putting out there. So this is Selvala Explorer of Return for green, white, and 1. Elf Scout, legendary creature. Parley. Tap it. Each player reveals the top card of his or her library. For each non-land card revealed this way, add green mana to your pool and you gain 1 life. Then each player draws a card. I like that. I've had people use Selvala against me a couple times. You really don't understand how much life you're getting until you are up to like 60, 70, 80 plus. I mean, you don't recognize it when the person over there is gaining all that life, and you're just like, how did you end up with 30 more life than me? A Crone Horse for 4, artifact creature horse, defender. When a Crone Horse enters the battlefield, an opponent gains control of it. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent creates a 1/1 white soldier creature token. Okay. Okay. Give me... So this is Windborn Muse for white and 3. It's a creature spirit, flying. Creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 2 for each creature he or she controls that attacks you. Another card that you have to pay 2 to attack you. So that's 3 cards, that would be 6. If you had all 3 out at once, that's 6 mana you have to pay to attack you for 1 creature. 2 creatures, 12, and so on. Psychosis Crawler, artifact creature horror for 5. Psychosis Crawler's power and toughness are equal to the number of cards in your hand. Whenever you draw a card, each opponent loses 1 life. Not bad. Legendary creature Org Warrior. Gazul, Tyrant of the Cliffs for 3 and 2 red. Whenever a creature opponent control attacks, if you're the defending player, create a 3/3 red ogre creature token unless the creature controller pays 3. It's a 5/4. I like that actually. I really like that. Realm Seeker. Seekers for 2 green and 4. Creature Elf Scout. So 0/0. Realm Seeker enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is the total number of cards in all players' hands. That's max hand size, please. For 2 and a green, remove a +1/+1 counter from Realm Seekers. Search your library for a land card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, and shuffle your library. I see some upgrades to this deck for sure. Like, this deck could be pretty good. But I also see you making a lot of tokens with this deck too. So this is Rubble Hulk for 4 red and green. Rubble Hulk's power and toughness are each equal to the number of lands you control. Blood Rush for 1 red and green. Discard Rubble Hulk. Target attacking creature gets +X/+X until the end of turn, where X is the number of lands you control. Still good. Blazing Archon for 3 white and 6. Creature Archon, flying. Creatures can't attack you. That's still 9. Ooh, that's a lot. Imperial Plate, artifact equipment for 2. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each card in your hand. Equip 2. You need a max hand size card in here for sure. Howling Mine, artifact for 2. At the beginning of each player's draw step, if Howling Mine is untapped, that player draws an additional card. How does it tap? I guess you would have to use the, what is the ability? Where you tap artifacts as mana. But yeah, so far so good actually. Temple Bell. Each player draws a card. This is for 3 to get on. Vinzer's Journal for 5. You have no maximum hand size. There you go, that's what I was looking for. At the beginning of your upkeep, you gain 1 life for each card in your hand. Yeah, you're gaining life big time with this deck. Well, okay. For a basic Commander starter deck, you are gaining life big time. So Keening Stone for 6, artifact, 5 and tap. Target player puts the top X cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard, where X is the number of cards in that player's graveyard. Mill them out too. Oath of Druids for 1 and green. Enchantment. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player chooses target player who controls more creatures than he or she does and is his or her opponent. Excuse me. The first player may reveal cards from the top of his or her library until he or she reveals a creature card. If he or she does, that player puts that card onto the battlefield and all other cards revealed this way into his or her graveyard. That will destroy one person that plays Zur, because Zur is the only creature in their deck. Well, there might be 2 others, but Zur is like, it's 1 of 3, and Zur is the commander. So, Rites of Flourishing for 2 and green. Enchantment. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card. Each player may play an additional land on each of his or her turns. So 1 extra draw, 1 extra land. Not bad. Licking Predators for 2 green and 4. Enchantment. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, reveal a top card of your library. If it's a creature card, put it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, you may put that card on the bottom of your library. So you may, you don't have to. Always good. Swan Song. Blue instant. Counter target enchantment, instant, or sorcery spell. Its controller creates a 2/2 bluebird creature token with flying. Giving them a token now. Oblation. O-B-L-A-T-A-T-I-O-N. Okay. 2 and white. Instant, the owner of target non-land permanent shuffles it into his or her library, then draws 2 cards. It's okay. Reigns of Power for 2 blue and 2. Untap all creatures you control and all creatures target opponent controls. You and that opponent each gain control of all creatures the other controls until the end of turn. Those creatures gain haste until the end of turn. Dang. And there's not a whole lot of creatures in this deck that, like, it's not creature based. It's like, I feel like it's mostly spells so far. Minds Aglow for 1 blue. Join forces. Starting with you, each player may pay any amount of mana. Each player draws X cards, where X is the total number of mana paid this way. Whoa. Whew. Mill people out once again. You just need a way to get your graveyard back into your deck. For sure. Collective Voyage, sorcery, join forces. Starting with you, each player may put any amount of mana. Each player searches his or her library for up to X basic land cards, where X is the total number of mana paid this way. Puts them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffles his or her library. Like, there's plenty of ways to get cards in here. Like, you're not going to run out of mana with this deck. So don't worry about that one bit. But this is not... I've not seen a full win condition, besides milling your opponent out, but it's not... Not every card's going for that. It's a good mix of everything, which I don't see a direct win condition from that. Hoofprints of the Stag for white and 1. Tribal enchantment, elemental. Whenever you draw a card, you may put a hoofprint counter on Hoofprints of the Stag. For 2 and white, remove 4 hoofprint counters from Hoofprints of the Stag. Create a 4/4 white elemental creature token with flying. Activate this ability only during your turn. Okay. Tempt with Discovery for a green and 3. Sorcery. Tempting offer. Search your library for a land card and put it onto the battlefield. Each opponent may search his or her library for a land card and put it onto the battlefield. For each opponent who searches a library this way, search your library for a land card and put it into the battlefield. Then each player who searches a library this way shuffles it. Okay, so you search your library for a land card, then your opponents search it. Your opponents may or may not search it. If they do, though, you can search your library for another mana for each opponent, and everyone has to shuffle their deck afterwards. I like that. I think I like it. So here's Wave of Reckoning. For white and 4, each creature deals damage to itself equal to its power. My dragons would destroy myself, because most dragons are like a 6/6, 4/4, 8/8. Their power and toughness are equal usually. Usually, there's a 4/4/5s and a little bit here and there alter, but most of them power and toughness is the same. So here's Reverse the Sands, 6 and 2 white. Redistribute any number of players' life totals. Each of those players gets 1 life total back. Redistribute any number of players' life. You can control their life totals. That's not fair. Wow. That's a little bit OP. Not gonna lie. Blasphemous Act for 8 and red. Blasphemous Act costs 1 less to cast for each creature on the battlefield. Deals 13 damage to each creature. That's gonna kill pretty much everything. Looks like here we go with lands. Exotic Orchard. Add to your mana pool 1 mana of any color that a land an opponent controls could produce. Not bad. Forbidden Orchard. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Whenever you tap Forbidden Orchard for mana, target opponent creates a 1/1 colorless spirit creature token. Don't like that though. I mean, no. Homeward Path. Land. Add colorless to your mana pool and then tap. Each player gains control of all creature he or she owns. Okay, so you're resetting it. If player 2 has player 3's creatures, this would make player 3 gain control of his original creatures. Okay, makes sense now. So here we go, more lands. Blue island. Those are islands. Mountain. Are these forests? No. Forest. So what are we doing here? 5. Guarantee there's 5 of each. Just because 2 of them are already 5. 5 of each so far. Don't think there's any left. There's a couple of dual lands and multi-lands. That's not bad. So Ash Barrens. Add colorless to your mana pool. Basic land cycling. 1, discard this card. Search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, and put it into your hand and shuffle your library. Azorius Chancery. I know I'm saying that right. Enters the battlefield tapped, and enters the battlefield. Return a land you control to its owner's hand. You can add a white and a blue to your mana pool. That's why it's good. Command Tower. Add to your mana pool 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. All except black on this one. Evolving Wilds. Search out a basic land. Frontier Bivouac. Here's the battlefield tapped, and you can add a blue, green, or red to your mana pool. Roll Turf. It's enter the battlefield tapped. There's the battlefield. Return target land you control to its owner's hand, and a red and green, 1 of each. Same thing. Return a land to your owner's hand, and blue-red. Jungle Shrine. Enters battlefield tapped, and you can add a red, green, or white to your mana pool. Crowsand Verge. Enters battlefield tapped, add colorless or sacrifice some. Pay 2 and sacrifice. Search your library for a forest card and a plains card and put them into your battlefield tapped. So 1 of each. Myriad Landscape, my bad. Enters tapped. It adds a color to your mana pool, and you can sacrifice them. Okay. Pay 2, tap, sacrifice. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards and share a land type. Share a land type. Okay, so 2 greens, 2 blues, etc., etc. And put them onto your battlefield tab, then shuffle your library. Mystic Monastery. Land, Mystic Monastery enters the battlefield tapped. You add a blue, red, or a white to your mana pool. Opal Palace, great card. Add the colors to your mana pool and tap for 1. Add to your mana pool 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. If you spend the mana to cast your commander, it enters the battlefield with a number of additional 1/1 counters on it, equal to the number of times it's been cast from the command zone to the graveyard. Love that card. Rupture Spire. Enters the battlefield tapped. When Rupture Spire enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless you pay 1 and add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Another great card. Seaside Citadel. Enters tapped and green, white, or blue. And I was talking about Rupture Spire is another great card. Terramorphic Expanse. Sacrifice it, search your library for a basic land card, and put it onto the battlefield tap, and then shuffle your library. Transguild Promenade. There's tapped, and you may sacrifice it unless you pay. When it enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless you pay 1 mana. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Looks good. Celestia Sanctuary. Enters battlefield tapped, and you have to return a land card to your owner's hand, and it's a add green and white to your mana pool. Not bad at all, in my opinion. There are definitely better ones out there. I think this is like one of the worst ones for 2016. But overall, I don't think it's bad. I mean, I paid $36 for it and some change. You can't beat $36 for this. But there it is. This is Stalwart Unity at Kineos and Tiro of Miletus. And I probably butchered that again, but thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day.